And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third game and maybe even the final game of this best of 5 here between H2k and Giants. H2k are currently leading this series 2-0, and they are 1 game away from getting themselves into the spring split.
They're in a good position, and you know, H2k, they've been close to LCS before. They've never been this close. They're now 1 game away for potentially stamping their spring split passports into Berlin for the LCS.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all, but they have to get past Giants first, and now they are 1 game away from moving into the lower bracket. They still have a chance, remember, if they lose this game, to go up against Reason Gaming, who will be playing tomorrow in that best of 5 to see who will be coming out of that game to qualify for the 10th spot in the EU LCS. But they would like to take this one. So,
for Giants, their strategy in general has always been revolving around mid lane. H2k have neutralized that. They've done a very good job. They've neutralized it not only just by kind of Forbidden playing the lane the way he wants to against Pepinero, but they've neutralized Frederick, and that has been a massive factor in this game. And once you're in a matchup that, you know, if you get behind in the jungle, it's very difficult to get back into. It's so tough. And we saw in game 1, got put behind on Pantheon, could never recover. Game 2, Javan's a little bit easier to recover on, but certainly Lulex's Lee Sin was just beyond what Frederick was able to cope with. And again, red side, game 3. We've mentioned it so many times, but it's a massive factor that if you can't have that freedom of changing up how your picks and bans kind of order goes, you've got to come up with a strategy inside the red side. And that is kind of difficult now, because you always give H2k the first pick champion, and that's exactly what they want.
Well, there's just like too many nails for them to hammer down, because now on red side, there's still so many bans they have to throw at H2k, and always something is going to fall through. So here we go. Syndra now banned out from H2k, coming in here, followed up by the Zed, the Jace, and the Xerath. Again, mid lane bans. LeBlanc, Janna, nothing different. The main difference here is the Janna coming in from Giants.
That is the different one. They've swapped away the Rumble. They've said that Voidal on Janna with the disengage is too much. In this kind of situation, H2k picked Corki last time. We'll see whether they still opt for it or opt for the Jarvan again. Now without that big disengage, it's a lot easier for Jarvan to get into the fight. And we know H2k picked Jarvan in the first game of the day as their first pick. That could be an option for them. Other options, they could opt for the Corki, as we said already there. There's just been a lot of discussion with our analysts in that on exactly how you kind of get Lulex away from the match, and it's very difficult to do. He's very proficient on Lee Sin and Jarvan, and you know, those aren't his only 2 junglers, but when those 2 are available, why pick anything else?
Yeah, why pick anything else? And we're going to be seeing the Lee Sin coming in here from H2k, and that'll be going on Lulex again.
I mean, you don't really have to explain that too much more than just the last game was exactly what Lulex needed to show. No surprise with the insta-lock on the Jarvan. The Irelia is available should Whirly B want to pick it. It would risk the Mundo again that we saw earlier. Other options, if they want to take the Thresh that they've given to Rydal time and time again, he's been doing very good on it. I think that would be a good pickup. Otherwise, they risk Voidal taking it away. And then what does Rydal play? Alistair has been his next.
Yeah, so we'll see if they do take that one away here. They're waiting for the second pick to come in from Giants, but they have already brought in the Jarvan for Frederick, so we have both of the junglers coming in here.
Yeah, at this situation, they could pick the Corki away from H2k if they want to play it, but we know Adri is confident in playing the Sivir matchup or even the Jinx. It doesn't matter. They have indeed gone for that support pick.
Okay, so again, we're going to be seeing Rydal on the Thresh, and he's done so incredibly well in these series. Even though they've been losing them, he has been keeping him in the game so much with that single pick by itself, not only in the bot lane, but also when we were going into team fights, finding picks for his team as well. So we'll be seeing that again for Rydal. And now looking at seeing what H2k will be bringing to the table here for the next 2 picks.
In this situation, in the last game, they picked the Orianna, feeling very safe with that as their mid lane matchup. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again. Irelia is still available. Them picking Thresh on the side of Giants means that top lane pick is once again available for H2k. And you know, Odo Amne really bullied Whirly B around in that lane, and Whirly B just had a horrible time until about 20-25 minutes when he actually got some time to farm without Odo Amne being around. Gets locked in. I think that's a big, tough pick that they're going to have to counter-pick. They're looking at a Malphite or a Mundo here out of Giants. I don't think the Jax is going to do as well again.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing, again, the Sivir locked in here alongside that Irelia, which you said last game as well. Odoamne, he picked up those 4 kills in those early game fights, and they just couldn't shut him down. He just got kill after kill after kill.
This is H2k taking away the Sivir, though. They didn't opt for the Corki while it was available, and Adrian Rydell had done a good job on that Thresh-Sivir combo in that bottom lane of putting Hjanen and Voidal a little bit behind. It didn't affect the game as a whole, but now we have to see what Adri has in his playbook. Does he opt for a Sivir? Does he opt for a Jinx that he has played time and time again? Does he go for the Corki, which, you know, has that weird matchup? Or Graves, Ezreal, there's still a lot still available. Lucian as well, still there in that bottom lane. It's an interesting steal away by Hjanen, obviously confident that he wants to play Adri's champion against him.
Yeah, and this is making Giants think a lot, because from here they probably like, okay, let's lock in the Jinx, let's bring that alongside the Thresh once again so we can have the On the Hunt ultimate coming in for the extra movement speed. And right now they are waiting for it, and we're going to see a little bit of a different pick here. Even though he is still in like the top 3 of AD carries, we're going to be seeing Lucian coming out for Adri, and then the Maokai as well for the top lane.
Okay, so this is very much so with the H2k lock-in saying what you want to do, we'll do instead with the Sivir and the Alistar. That's very much so an homage to Rydell, as well as just being one of Voidal's picks as well. But I prefer this setup out of Giants with regards to the top lane. Maokai, you know, it's just going to farm, and then Maokai's going to go for team fighting. What are they going to pick as their mid laner here against Ahri? Orianna would be a team fight composition like no other for Giants here. They've got the Jarvan, they've got the Maokai. That would be a good pickup here, just as a safe pick that we know Pepinero can play. We know he'll get the ultimates, but this is the other champion that Pepinero is known for. And finally, one game potentially away from being out of the runnings in this game for the LCS. He's going to lock in one of his most played champions in Twisted Fate.
Yeah, well, even if Giants don't think it perfectly works in this game, they're going to bring it out anyway. It's the Twisted Fate, it's the Jarvan. We've seen this throughout the tournament. We've seen them play it all over the different taunts that we've seen them compete in. This is their combination, and if this doesn't work, then nothing will.
The problem they've got is H2k have got a lot of catch potential and a lot of kill potential as well. Between Irelia, Lee Sin, and Ahri, one person gets caught out, or even, you know, Twisted Fate coming into a lane, as soon as those cards appear on the floor, very easy to spot him out, could be problematic for Giants. And then you've got an Alistar to deal with during the team fights as well. Over on the side of Giants, Cataclysm and, of course, Maokai just works well in team fights. You have to feel it's a lot on Pepinero, and you can see him there on the screen. You've got to be a little bit confident here to pick a Twisted Fate. He's not completely fallen out of the meta, but he certainly has to get the Destiny gates working early. It's going to be very important for them to get into a lane and get kills early on this Twisted Fate.
Serious talks coming in now from that lineup of the Giants, but H2k... they're looking pretty happy. Yeah, only one game away here, Stress.
They look a lot more confident here. They say, nah, that's no problem. We'll just we'll take what
we'll shut down Pepinero's mid-lane Twisted Fate. But here we go again. Giants again being on the red side every single game in this series. Will he be in the top lane? Frederick in the jungle. Pepinero in the mid lane. Adri and Voidal in the bottom lane. Maybe for the last time.
And if it is the last time, this could be the 9th team in the LCS. It will be H2k with Odoamne in the top lane, Lulex in the jungle, Forbidden in mid lane, Hjanen on support, Hjanen on AD carry. I was looking at Voidal as he's on support. Nearly got it. Nearly. It's okay. It's because Hjanen's on Sivir and I'm used to him being on Corki.
So Giants now are definitely changing up their game plan with 4 of their members moving into the bottom lane. Maybe already seen out though by Hjanen. He will at least see the AD carry. And Pepinero with the rest of the team moving up here, looking for the gold card. Will get it down onto Hjanen. He will have to burn the flash here. Jumps over the wall. And
bit of time travel there for you.
Time travel. There's the gold card. Oh, I always predicted exactly how that was going to go down.
I don't know how you did that, Pulse. That's
insane.
That's some impressive precognition ability in this game.
Even better than Jack's crystal ball.
Oh dear. Now we're into the game. Now we've had that flash go down. Ah dear. Let's take a look at the beginning of this game. Well, Rydell got a ward in there on the Krugs. Has assumed control of that jungle. And Pepinero maybe going to look to ward out somewhere up in the top side. He actually has used his ward, so yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Neither do I, apparently. But Pepinero in the mid lane has burned his Ghost in that early game, so he did burn that for the bottom lane's flash, which may set him up for a gank later on, but we'll see how worth that is, because he is up against an Ahri in the middle lane and a Lee Sin who's no doubt going to go for early pressure.
Giants are looking for this similar play again. This is what they did in Game 1 and Game 2 they did it delayed. This is Game 1 again, as Hyanon and Voidal really want to take the Krugs here. But they are going to be forced away. Are they going to... Ooh, wow. Okay, Giants are going super aggressive onto this. Want to land as much damage. Flay.
Wow, they were just all in. Moves onto Voidal, takes him down to 50%. And he'll have to chuck through a couple health potions again, starting up with the Triumphant Roar for the heal. And Rydal again looking for round 2 onto Hyanon this time around. Get the better of that trade for sure. And they are there before the minion line, and Hyanon and Voidal are already on the back foot.
They are, and you know, we've seen Sivir picked into this bottom lane a couple of times already. Dignitas did it in their game against Aces High, and honestly, that game didn't go in the bot lane so well for them. They died pretty much in the beginning of the game to a bottom lane you would expect them to beat, and Hyanon's already under a little bit of pressure here from the amount of damage they've taken. Obviously, doesn't have that flash from earlier. Pepinero, this would be an incredibly early giveaway, but looks like he just wanted to give him a hand there on blue. I was wondering exactly what was going on there.
Yeah, the minion wave wasn't anywhere near him. Pepinero saw the opportunity to help out his jungler, so why not? Frederick is going to be trying to reciprocate that in the mid lane regardless. Rydal again being even more aggressive than Game 1 and Game 2, and he was pretty aggressive in those 2 games as well.
We know his hooks can land as well. He's got to make sure he doesn't hook in an Alistair who can then pulverize, but they're still level 1, and this is what the analysts were talking about. Lulex has this very greedy jungle route. He hasn't done his red yet, and he's already very low. Frederick this time is trying to go aggressive, so Lulex fakes that he's going to red and he's going to back away. Frederick does not have his smite available, so can't look to take the red buff away as he'd risk them coming along, but Rydal is here to assist on that, but red buff has just reset itself. So did gain quite a lot of health. It's going to require Pepinero to come down and block for them.
Yeah, they're committing a lot of resources to this, but it will absolutely be worth it taking this buff away from Lulex, and Frederick will be picking this one away. Question is whether he decides to take the small Cinderlings as well. Rydal comes up into the mid lane, but the wards are there, and a huge amount of pings coming out from H2k, making sure Feathervin is not caught off guard.
I mean, Giants knew that was warded out as well, so Rydal just spending a little bit more time there. Lulex is looking to get into the middle lane because of how Pepinero is pushing up. He's got Ghost and Flash, though, so should be fairly safe. But he is pushing up. Rydal will look for a hook in the bottom lane. Lulex has been waiting for this. In he goes.
Pepinero caught out in the mid lane. Lulex following up the auto attacks, connects the Sonic Wave, tries to get the resonating strike, but Charm will not land. Pepinero gets away with his life and will now try to put some damage in from the side. There's the flash forwards. Tempest the cripple lands the Q. Pepinero just walks back in and gets picked up by Lulex.
Okay, that is too greedy and confident out of Pepinero. You've just used both summoners. You can't go back into lane like that, especially when you know Lulex is still there.
Oh, Frederick comes into the middle lane, tries to get something done. Lulex now doesn't have the flash, but maybe he's able to connect the Q. Yes, he does. He looks to follow through. Maybe a little bit too deep, though. He will be taking the last tower shot. He goes down. Frederick picks up the kill in return.
Greed is not so good in this game so far, as Lulex is another player just sticking around a little too long. Thought he could get the kill there, and Frederick just got away. Hook is going to land.
Hook from downtown. There's the follow through, and the flay onto 2, onto Voidal and Hyanon. He's dropping low. Double tap. Last auto attack from Madry from the Relentless Pursuit. This is just all systems go.
So we've got a big disparity in the bottom lane in favor of Giants. They have a big CS lead, 33 CS to 16, and it's forced Sivir into buying boots in this matchup. She's going to delay damage for quite some time now because she's having to avoid as many hooks as possible. You can see that Rydal is just timing it perfectly. Saw the spell shield used, then follows up with a hook. Really nice play out of Rydal, and I'm surprised he's got the Thresh again.
And look at that bot lane. Look at the aggression resulting in the CS lead. 38 CS compared to 16 from Hyanon. 2,000 compared to 1,300 is a gigantic difference for the bottom lane here. Frederick now moving up to the top lane.
They timed out the gold a little poorly there on Lucian, though. He had to sit around for a good 20 to 30 gold there to just get that BF sword. So it's actually going to give Sivir a little bit of respite, but the fact of the matter is she's still very far behind. BF sword to Doran's and longsword is going to make this lane so difficult for her to sit in. Adri is going to be able to just pretty much make that time work for him anyway in the end of all things.
So sometimes when we're in the potential final game of a series, we'll see both teams being very conservative, very safe, and Giants and H2k, as the two most aggressive teams, are saying, let's just all butt our heads against each other as much as we can and go for all of the action we possibly can go for.
And Rydell is actually sitting up in this mid lane now because they know Adri can kind of deal with himself there in that bottom lane. There's not really any pressure provided he plays it properly. And Frederick is here as well. There's a lot of resources, centered on this middle lane. We'll see if it works out for Bivin.
He will be the one going aggressive. Last charge of Spirit Rush will take him down, but now Frederick comes in. He's only level 4 versus the level 7 from Febivin. Turns around with the Orb of Deception. Rydell was a little too slow as well. And the middle lane goes down. The Twisted Fate pick not working out so far.
It hasn't really worked out, and a lot of it is because Pepinero has just kind of been outplayed a little bit by Febivin. That time, 2 players from Giants were still there, and Febivin is the one that ends up getting the kill here, and it looks like, teleporting the bottom lane.
Voidal comes in with the combo. The teleport now from Whirly B. He'll be trying to get in here. Voidal is dropping low, level 4. What does he have for summoners? He has the flash and the sapling over the wall. Adri trying to get something done, and the sapling will run Hyanin down, and he'll get out of range. But the mid lane, though, is wide open for Giants. No, it isn't. They're on the right side of the game.
The dragon is wide
open for Giants as they're moving towards this.
Yeah, and if they really needed to, they know that there's nobody in any of the lanes, so this is a fairly easy dragon take for them. I was going to say they want to look to combo the teleport and the Twisted Fate ultimate at the same time, but Giants haven't needed to yet. That dragon is just about enough to keep them just about level as well. So now they're going to have those added stats. Odoamne has been pushing in the top lane as well. His teleport was not really available for that bottom lane fight either. So at this point, 60 CS to 30 in that bottom lane is a massive disparity that H2k are going to have to overcome.
Yeah, this is gigantic as everyone just goes around the housekeeping, and Febivin picks up the buff, the blue buff rather, into the top side of his jungle. Mid lane as well, again looking for that Morella Nomicon from Pepinero.
This
Frederick,
is close.
Yeah, it is. He's kiting it around for Pepinero, who is a little late. That's fine. He will be most likely going back to base regardless after this. And you still have to clear out that Sentinel because it will stop you from recalling.
And it's also worth more experience now. Yeah. So you want to get as much experience as you can. So Whirly B up in that top lane with Odoamne against him. Haven't seen Aurelia and Maokai yet today. We've seen a lot of Aurelia. This time Whirly B is going to have to wait to make his presence felt, but Lulex is going to make his.
A moment of stepping 2 forwards will signal Lulex out of the bush, comes in with a very clean kill into the top lane. That's just cut and dry. Rydell gets caught out here. Will take the full brunt of the damage from Febivin. 3-2 currently will be the total score. H2k leading very slightly by the smallest of margins.
Lulex is very patient. Ooh, headbutt.
Yeah, combo here from Voidal. Rydell will get him back to safety though.
Lulex is very patient with his ganks, and it actually results in Giants not having vision of him and then kind of extending forward, which is a bit of a misplay out of Giants that they've done again and again. The fact of the matter is Lulex should be punished for not being on the map for all of this time, and Giants in some situations should be reading it a little bit better that he could potentially be in their lane.
Bottom lane again, H2k go for these Krugs. Giants have always been there historically to take them away, but they are now in the mid lane, so they won't be able to do that. Mid lane again, fairly even when you look at the CS, but 2 kills behind. Pepinero really needs to be stepping up, especially trying to use his ultimate.
And speaking of using Pepinero's ultimate, still has it available. Here goes Febivin.
Oh, Febivin with the full combo. Spirit Rush comes in. He'll be taking out Pepinero 1-on-1. They need to stop this bleeding, and they need to stop it now.
Yeah, this is exactly what Febivin was talking about yesterday. He was saying, I'm not afraid of Pepinero, and it's really going from bad to worse here. This is going to be another turret going down in favor of H2k, and for all the advantage that Giants had in the bottom side of the map, they haven't really secured vision. They haven't really done anything with it, and all it's leading is to Adri just having a farm lead and an item lead over Hyanin, but the rest of the map just isn't going Giants' way, and H2k again are ahead.
They just need an extra inch in this final game, but Giants just can't seem to find it. H2k are performing consistently in these games. The most important thing here, but Pepinero Well, he comes in with the ultimate here. Here's the Destiny, but we do have Lee Sin behind. He will be kicking him towards his turret. Does not want to be caught out here. Ooh. But we do have Rydell coming in from the north side. He will find him here. So will Frederick as well. Stuncock goes down. There's the death sentence, and will be living up to its name. Adri will find himself that kill. Vodal heads back into the bottom lane. A swift 1-0. And can they take anything off that? As Dragon is already down.
That's the question, is how do they establish control now? They need to get some deep wards into the jungle, prevent Lulex from roaming quite so easily here. And they actually don't have any now because of that boots by the mobility boots that we've been seeing out of support so much to roam. They don't have the wards to expend in the enemy jungle, and that's problematic because it means although they're getting these kind of advantages in the bottom side, they're not converting it into any kind of significant control.
Voidal putting the ward over the wall, trying to maintain that vision. Did manage to clear out a couple of wards as well because Giants tried to convert that kill into vision control. Weren't all that successful. They do, of course, have those 3 pink wards, but they're fairly defensive, if not on the middle line of that river.
Oh, manual gank coming up from Pepinero, but Odoamne already beat him out.
Yeah, he will be heading back to his ally of Forbidden in the middle lane, but getting sandwiched here by Rydell. Turns around though, Warbeacon not connecting the charm, comes in, dodges the hook as well. Odoamne is here to secure the kill if he's needed. Comes in for the final hit with Blade Surge. And Forbidden saying, I actually didn't need your help there. That was my kill.
Forbidden is... This is like night and day when you look at his performances against the Copenhagen Wolves. Forbidden played Ahri 3 games, lost all 3 in the LCS promotion series. Now that they're in the expansion games, Forbidden is running rampant now over everybody that stands in front of his Ahri, and he is in such a commanding position. He's at 2-0-2. What is he going to back for that Deathfire Grasp? Yep, that is indeed what he picks up. And how do you stop Forbidden? He's just predicting everything that Giants are throwing at him.
He's running circles around Giants, quite frankly. And take a look at the top lane as well. 2-0-0. He's picked up his own Trinity Force at 13 minutes. Big items across the board for H2k. The biggest of item spikes compared to only Morel and Omicron. Now Adri, actually being so far ahead of the bottom lane, has picked up his Infinity Edge. So in terms of the rest of the map, Adri has to be the saving grace, but when you have 2 assassins of both Irelia and Ahri, good luck to you.
Yeah, Adri really has to play the rest of this game out very carefully and make sure that they're taking any kind of advantages that they can with him. He's a full 1,000 gold up on Sivir, and that's not to be sniffed at, as he has got that Infinity Edge compared to the makings of it on Sivir, but we know that Sivir kind of scales badly in, or less well than Lucian does into the later game, and that's going to be problematic when it comes to taking down targets like a Maokai or a Jarvan with a couple of items. So there is still a saving grace for Giants. They pretty much have stun lock on anybody when they land a gold card or a hook. So there is still a lot of potential. They just actually have to get going in this matchup, get the teleports and the Destiny working from Pepinero. Maybe look to get Whirly involved in the action as well, but Lulex wants to involve himself.
Yeah, he comes into the top lane here underneath that inner turret. He's dropping low though, maybe able to get the last tower shot. He will not be falling. Odoamne drops very low, but in turn they trade Whirly for their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, dragon for 1, and Pepinero, who has popped that Destiny. He's looking for a kill in that top lane. Not actually, he used Ghost as well. He thought he could close the distance, but that's 2 big cooldowns not available for Pepinero.
And Frederick has started off the blue buff for him as well, and he'll just have to take it. He's not going to wait around. So that's the blue buff not going to Pepinero, him not picking up the kill, burning his summoner and burning his ultimate. Pepinero has not only made no difference on this game, but honestly, right now, looks like he's hurting the chances of his team.
A little bit. I mean, normally we'd expect him on Twisted Fate to be doing very well, but honestly, I would say this is more of H2k just completely dominating that mid lane. In all games of this series, Pepinero's picked a champion that he should feel confident on, and 1v1 he's died to Forbidden a couple of times now, and you can tell that Forbidden is just in Pepinero's head already, and that's a tough spot to be in here when you're 1 game away, potentially from having to face another best of 5 in order to get into the LCS.
Well, we already knew that Lulex was in Frederick's head because every single time he showed his face in the last game, there was a Lee Sin to find him, and this game has been not too different as Odoamne moves on to Maokai in the top lane, but Frederick and Rydell are heading into the top lane as well. The flash away down will signal that he probably has to get away from this. The Giants as well will now rotate towards the middle lane. Whirly, this is dangerous going up against the Ancient Krug, but Frederick as well, Rydell looking for potential initiation. Odoamne trying to get in lane. He's very fast as he moves towards Whirly B. Comes in with the blade surge. Mid lane though for Bivin. Again with the one-on-one kill. This time underneath the inner turret.
Oh man, he is just doing so well. Frederick in trouble.
Comes in with the Sonic Wave. Will take the Fresh Express back to Rydell. Keeps him alive, but the 2-0 culling over the wall. Tries to pick up for Bivin.
Trapped.
He's dodgeball champion, but can he dodge a Cataclysm to the face? The answer is a no.
I don't think so. That's if you can dodge a wrench. In that time, it was if you can dodge traffic. But at this point, H2k are pretty much like a freight train. And that is difficult indeed for Giants as they're pretty much stuck there. But Whirly B goes in.
He's going in, but his only backup is Rydell right now. And he'll just go down before Adri even gets near. And he goes very aggressive as well. Lulex connects the Sonic Wave. Did not choose to go all in. He did have his flash and ultimate if he decided to go for that.
Yeah, if he wanted to, but we'll see. He might want this.
Oh, he will in the 3 versus 2. Adri just stepped too far forward. And this is an AD carry's worst nightmare, as Ari and Irelia are just so far ahead.
I'm not too sure what Adri wanted from that, if I'm being honest. Not worth, I think, is what you'd say on that
Definition of not worth.
It looked like Rydell and Adri thought they could get something done there, but as you said, Ari, Lee Sin, Irelia is not exactly easy to deal with as an AD carry, and it's not easy to deal with Odoamne. Again, they let him have this Irelia, and again, he is doing exceptionally well. He's 4-0-2. And while Whirly B picked a champion that is good when you get to team fights, Giants haven't got to team fights yet. And if they don't ever get there, this Irelia is just going to completely demolish whoever stands in front of her.
Well, you hit the nail on the head on champion select, Stress. It's just a game of whack-a-mole where there's too many champions to ban out. H2k are always going to get champions that they want, and Giants have to do something to deal with that in-game. And so far, it hasn't really done anything. Frederick, though, is 2-0-1. Bot lane is doing well, but when Pepper Nero is so far behind, when Whirly B is so far behind, is it enough?
That is the question, and Forbidden is on the hunt.
He is going face first into Rydell, Frederick, and Pepper Nero. He will Spirit Rush away from them, though, and this is just a turnaround, 1-on-3. Now the rest of the cavalry has arrived. Pepper Nero has charged up his ultimate. Odoamne now going one-on-one against his top laner, but now 5-0. 5 kills onto Whirly B. Rydell over the wall, gets away with the death sentence, but Lulex is on hot pursuit. And it's just a matter of how he wants to finish off his prey. There's the sidestep. Rydell saying, you're going to have to work for it if you want to pick me up. But with the auto attacks, the Voidal and the Hyanan coming in from the top side, it will be the kill going over to the AD carry of Sivir. 13-4, 19 minutes into this game. This has been by no means a slow game.
Oh, it is just difficult for them to do anything against Forbidden here. And yes, he ended up falling in the end of it, but he managed to just completely avoid the Cataclysm, just using that Spirit Rush, just gets completely out of the way. Giants just kind of chase themselves into a situation where the rest of H2k can pick everybody off. And H2k are 13-4 up. And Giants really just don't have the damage on most of their champions to take these fights. They also don't have the health either. They are really not that tanky.
Well, they're trying to ambush Odoamne there, but the Ionian Fervor was able to get him out of the CC fairly quickly. Voidal takes some punishment from Adri, but they're going to need more than that slight bit of pain to result in a kill. And the first foot in the door to try and open up their chances of taking this series back. 40 seconds left on the Dragon. It will be Giants having to fight over this again. Last time they were able to take it away. That is one other thing going their way. Rydell, the hook goes completely wide of H2k. And even Rydell is feeling the pressure of this game.
Oh, Lulex isn't.
Oh, Lulex with the flag and with the ultimate coming in, but he was able to flag and direct back into that one. Hyanan has been caught out by the Cataclysm. Adri trying to follow up, but has trapped himself inside of the ultimate. Forbidden comes in and picks up the 1 kill to Rydell. Jungler for support so far, but Forbidden still has the charge of his ultimate coming in. Odoamne comes in, chimes in for the assist for Hyanan to pick up the kill.
Flash Charm.
The Flash Charm, the Orbit Deception comes across. Foxfires comes across as well. Adri drops where he stands, and Pepper Nero and Frederick have to go back to the inner turret, make that their inhibitor turret.
Forbidden is a one-man wrecking crew right now. Lulex went in aggressively, and okay, it was a little overconfident perhaps. He did end up falling, got the kick though. He was just buying time for Forbidden. Comes in. Let's take another look as Lulex look to engage, does fall as he takes the focus of so many members of Giants. And Giants look very confident in this fight as they got damage down onto Cannon, but from the back of the fight, instantly takes that one. He holds on to his ultimate because Pepinero with that gold card is a little bit too much for him to lock down. And from there, between Odo Amne and Forbidden, there is just so much damage to shred down. And Adri had to know that was coming.
Yeah.
Flash was still available into the charm. Nothing you can do about that.
It was actually a funny interaction in that last team fight because Frederick was already flag and dragging while Lulex kicked him, and then he just carried through anyway. So he kind of bounced back a bit and then jumped back to his flag. So the Dragon's Rage was in the right place. It just didn't throw him back to his team.
It was enough. They got what they needed from it. That's Lulex really just has been on form with Lee Sin, and you wouldn't expect anything else. It's interesting though because you look at other junglers that are typical Lee Sin mains that have been in the expansion tournament. Zayu from Reason Gaming has opted not to pick Lee Sin, and you can see the effect that Lulex is having on it in this game. So it's clearly still a very strong pick here for some teams.
Yeah, and also when you take a look at just the builds as well from Lulex, he's actually opting towards the Warrior enchant rather than the Juggernaut, which has always been picked up by Zayu. So you can see just the gameplay choices opening opportunities to players. Hello, Lulex, you have been caught out.
Yeah.
So Giants, they still have the ability to pack a punch when they find someone alone.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, Lulex just kind of stood on the spot on top of a ward, and a hook is very easy to get. Oh, Pepinero, that's very aggressive.
How did you get that? I believe he just teleported into them. We'll be trying to juke them away. Takes the lantern back to Rydell.
I mean, he was setting up an engage. He used all of his summoners and his ultimate there and fell low, and that's really not exactly what you're wanting out of your Twisted Fate now. That's the kind of play perhaps you'd make if the rest of the team are ready and you've got a Zhonya's Hourglass, but you can see how much he expended to get away from that.
Yeah, he's actually opted towards the Lich Bane here on top of his Morellonomicon, so he's not even close to a Zhonya's Hourglass if that's what he was looking for. He's 0-4-2 up against Forbidden, who is 6-1-3. Almost looking at his third item here, has a Death Cap and Deathfire Grasp.
So Giants have had double Sightstone for a very long time in this game, but they haven't really been able to control the vision game of H2k at all. Yes, they've got wards in the topside jungle, but H2k are just going to take turret after turret right now. And they're taking better fights as well, because Giants keep being forced into these small little fights that H2k want to take. Ooh, Adri. Lulex has been confident, but I don't think that would be the smartest play if he were to go into the whole Giants team.
Sometimes you just have that trigger finger though, you land the Q, and sometimes you just have the feeling that you have to commit.
But in this game, they are in an LCS expansion best of 5, so it doesn't mean you have to go in all of the time. I would hope that Lulex would be a little bit more considerate with his resonating strikes.
Yeah, it's lucky that it just doesn't time out and you just go in anyway. Glad that's not a mechanic.
That would be a silly mechanic, but nevertheless, down in that bottom lane, you can see Irelia is pushing up, but the rest of Giants are on their way in, and Rydell is looking for a hook here. Frederick is in the bottom lane as well. Destiny has been popped. This is a big commit.
It is, and they're using a lot for it. They use the Cataclysm. Adri is taking point here, but he's very squishy. Voidal comes in with a 4-man knockup. Odoamne is still here. He's tanking up the damage with Unbreakable Will, but this is all buying time for the team to come in and rescue them, and now they're on the offensive.
A massive commit there out of Giants. They use the Destiny as well as 3 people to try and get into the bottom lane, and Giants got nothing from it. There's really nothing to gain here, and H2k a full health. Pepinero is not, and H2k could look to push in the last inner turret of the game here.
Well, Grump goes down. Fairly
he's not so
unhappy.
Grump.
No, he is not. He is not very Grump at all. But in the top lane here, rather the bottom lane, he'll be taking away this inner turret. That goes down. Voidal has been cut off to the left side, though, and he will be going down. In fact, he's still alive. Odoamne is now moving forwards with his team. What if he drops low? In comes Lulex. The kick as well onto Rydell. Down goes the top laner. Down goes the support. Adri as well on the back foot. He'll be going down with another Equilibrium strike. Forbidden jumps in with the charm. 4-0. Bottom turret goes out as well. Double kill for Sivir, and they have their eyes locked onto Baron.
There's just nothing in these fights that Giants can do to completely disrupt H2k at all, and they are just taking lead after lead, and H2k just have never let up. From the very first minute of game number 1, H2k have just looked in complete control. Giants have had their moments, but Voidal gets hooked in and then kind of just takes a lot of the damage, but Odo Amne is there, and that's one of the key factors as Hyanan pushed forward, and Lulex goes all the way in, lands the kick, puts Rydal right into the middle of the fight. By that time, Maokai had already fallen. And it's just the follow-up damage that H2k have. There is just too much. Another flash charm out by Forbiven. You've got to question the Ari pick, the Ari giveaway by Giants, the Aurelia giveaway by Giants as well. H2k have looked comfortable this entire series.
Yeah, they have, and this is them on form. And if H2k continue to play like this, they can easily close out this series. They're 11,000 gold ahead. Adri
gets it again.
Just trying to take the Merc walls, and they're not thinking clearly.
These charms are just landing every time Destiny has been used.
And Pepinero caught out in the bottom lane. This is just mental collapse now from Giants.
Giants are just folding in on themselves at this point, and H2k are going to be happy enough to take this. And honestly, H2k have looked stronger and have overwhelmed all of their opposition here in the expansion tournament through every round. But Giants have looked a lot sharper than they have today, and you have to think that they're going to have to go into a series against Reason where Giants, yes, they're the aggressors, but Reason fixed a lot of their problems. Giants have kind of had a couple creep into their play today, but H2k certainly have not.
And H2k just going to play this out methodical. Take one tower, take the inhibitor turret, now move towards the bottom lane as well, which is being handled by Odoamne. They try to go for the engage. Frederick dropping low. Odoamne will follow up with the blade surge, takes him down. Hyanan gets another kill.
Why would you go in on that hook? Oh, here they go.
Once again, shut down. This time onto Irelia. This is a fight underneath the inhibitor turret. Voidal is getting chunked down. He's unbreakable will, but he'll lock him down as well. We're 1 for 3. Rydal jumps forward, connects the hook, but it will be spell shielded away by Hyanan. The Lantern comes through for Whirly B. He tries to get in range for the twisted advance, but Hyanan is pretty fast. I'm not sure if they can catch up here, but they're going to carry on chasing.
Yeah, well, they should end up getting them if Rydal can manage to get a hook. Not gonna get it. Maybe that'll spell the end of it here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Lulex got hooked in, and for a moment there, I thought, why would Frederick go in alone on that hook? The rest of the team just weren't with him. You can see how much different the team fights are when the whole team is engaging. But Frederick on his own just kind of falls there, and H2k take a bit of a scrappy fight there. They lose a couple of people. Giants are going to extend this game a little bit longer, and that's what they're going to need to do. But Odoamne here, teleporting into the backside. Pepinero is low.
He's flashing up red, and Odoamne, that is a dream to him as he comes in with the last Transcendent Blades. He's getting locked up though. He's taking a lot of damage, but a perfect kick onto 4 people. Odoamne still runs away, takes a sapling as it just screams into him. And Pepinero gets away with it, actually. He'll survive here, and the rest of the team will back off to base, but Giants are very close to flatlining.
Yeah, and H2k have regrouped as well. Forbiven wasn't anywhere near that fight, and he is a massive portion of the damage along with Odoamne. H2k are going to look to take this Baron, or at least set it up for a bait. Yeah, they will end up starting it, and this would be a last-ditch Baron steal if ever there was one to save a game. They're on a ward, though, as Giants don't quite have the vision. There's the Destiny, and that's going to force H2k back away, so they deter the Baron for now. He's going to follow up with this and now activate the Ghost.
Going? This is dangerous, but he finds Lulex. He takes him down with pick a card, comes in with the wild cards as well. Frederick is on the chase, but on the hunt from Cive will bring them into safety, back into the sanctuary of their turret.
Lulex is dead. Giants could turn around here and maybe look to take out a Baron. There are a couple of members of H2k that are low if they choose to go for it. They're being indecisive because they don't really have the control of the area. Lulex still down for 20. Giants are going to try and choke out H2k, but they haven't secured all of the vision. And it's a tough spot. If they just make the decision, this could backfire, though. There is no smite for H2k in this situation. Frederick has his available. Forbiven could land a money charm here and take the jungler away. Voidal is going to go in.
Here comes the cow, in with the Cataclysm as well. Also with the ultimate, they're coming in. They pick up the first kill onto the top lane, and down goes the jungler. Hyanan turns around, but it will be Forbiven coming in once again with Hyanan, and they are getting run down. Odoamne is just pushing in with the team, 4 for 1. Adri is now running back. He has to jump back in. He has to try and do something, but he doesn't even take down Odoamne. 5 for 1.
And all the meanwhile, the base has been under siege from the inhibited being down. The minions are pushing into the turret, and this is just going to open up the Baron here for H2k. It was a nice attempt out of Giants, but they were indecisive about it. They didn't secure the Baron area early enough, and then they try and go for it. Forbiven comes in. He's got too much damage for you to stand in front of, and that's going to be Baron going over to H2k, and that is now pretty much an insurmountable mountain for Giants to defeat. And actually, they nearly lost both Nexus turrets in that engage.
Yeah, this could be the death note coming in from H2k. They're absolutely writing names down, taking names from Giants, and they are not looking good. 28 kills to 11. Look at the scoreline as well. 8 towers to 2 and 13,000 gold ahead. They are ahead in every single category. And Adri 4 and 5 here, but he is still even himself so far behind.
You can feel just the tension in this game. H2k know they are so close to the LCS, and they have taken advantage after an advantage and have never let Giants into it. Odoamne gets caught out.
He does. He gets struck down. He's still at 50% health, but Baron buff, remember, no longer gives the regeneration, so that's going to stick, but he's still regenerating fairly quickly.
Now, H2k gonna push in through this bottom lane. They know the inhibitor's still down in the middle lane. Lulex is hooked in again, but Giants just aren't quite there to follow up. And, I mean, what do you do here? Because as soon as they engage, the charm is going to come out from Forbiven. And Giants then have one person just way out in front that's locked down, and nobody can really do anything from that situation. They have to go around and take that inhibitor. Forbiven over
the wall! Dead drops Bridal right down, and Frederick is now here, drops the Cataclysm. Voidal knocks him away out of that ring of safety. Welly B comes in, will be following Lulex all the way down with Twisted Advance. Overwhelmed, tanks up the culling shot. Bottom inhibitor goes down. This is a 3 versus 5 defense.
And that Nexus turret is already low. Pepinero is going to have to try and do something last ditch, but he is so far behind in this game.
Whirly B gets caught out. He is the tankiest member. He drops like a fly. Adri will be just backing off with his mid laner. The Nexus goes down. H2k, welcome to the LCS.
They did not look second best at any point throughout their expansion tournament games. You can see just how happy H2k are right now. And they had blue side all 3 games. The picks worked out from them. They always gave Lulex a comfortable champion. And Giants are going to have to go back to the drawing board because they now have to play against Reason Gaming tomorrow in a best of 5 if they want to make it to the LCS.
They still have a chance to come back into this one, but right now it's all about H2k. What a crazy performance by these guys. This is a completely different team from what we saw in promotions. 3-0, and still we keep up the trend. There has not been a single series that has gone past 3 games.
There hasn't at all, and there has been a lot of talk over the last season. The 2014 season, everybody has always said these players are some of the absolute top that Challenger have to offer here in Europe, and now they'll finally get their opportunity to prove their worth in the LCS. A lot of people are expecting big things from the H2k lineup, and I am excited to see them face up against some of Europe's finest.
Yeah, I mean, they've had so much experience with each other as well, all the way back until the Cloud9 Eclipse lineup. These guys have the experience, and if they play anything like what they did in the last series stress, they will absolutely take the EU LCS by storm.
They will indeed, and I just cannot wait for the season to start.
Yeah, so that will be it. That will be it from us today, at least, until we come back with the next best of 5 tomorrow, which will determine the very last spot coming in for the expansion tournament here in EU. But we're going to shoot it over to the analyst desk to break down that series.
Thank you very much, guys. I gotta say, those jackets look really fresh, and well, they made it into the